Good morning. I thought we'd have some fun today. I'm just gonna work on my blocks, and I'm gonna have you just be my fun friends while I'm doing that. I'm gonna trim some of these up real quick here. That looks good. Probably need to put a new blade in here. So I thought we'd just sew along together today. If you are making these blocks, you can get yours out and we can sew along together. Thought I'd share a little bit about our trip that we just recently took to South Dakota. I had not ever been there before. Well, I shouldn't say that. I was there as a small child with my parents. I was probably about 6 years old when we came through. So that was many, many years ago. And we just had the best time. John and I drove out to meet his niece and nephew who are in their 60s and we're in our 70s. And so we just have a great time. John's sister was 12 years older than him. And so that's the reason they're relatively close in age. So we had a great time driving out. The first day that we were on the road, we went to up through Jackson and then over through Moran. We took the Moran exit to Du Bois. It's spelled Du Bois. If you're French, you know, but they pronounce it Du Bois. And there's a lot of different pronunciations out here in Idaho, which we've learned over time. Anyway, so we headed out to Wyoming that direction, and going over the top of the grade there was a big fire going on, and it's really a shame to see that, but it's nature's way. It was started by some lightning, I believe, and so that was kind of going on in that area, and they had a pilot car escort us through, and so we did that, and by the time we got through to Du Bois, it was about lunchtime, and we decided we'd pull off the road and we have some lunch, and we asked this gentleman that was riding along in a little four-wheel vehicle, like I don't know what they call them, a little off-road vehicle. And he stopped with his dog, and we said, hey, where's a good place to eat in town where we can get a sandwich? And he goes, oh, you want to go to the Cowboy? So he told us how to get there, and we drove through town and we spotted it. So we drove around the block and we got a parking spot right in front of the place, and the place was packed. It was packed inside. They only had seating outside when we got there. So I thought, well, it must be pretty good. And so we stopped there and we ate. We met a nice couple, and he was originally from Du Bois and grew up there, and he was telling us about the place, and they live probably about an hour away now from the city. You could call it a city. It's a little town. And they were coming up for the garage sale. I guess they have a garage sale every year that's quite big. All the people in the town get together and put all their stuff together for a big yard sale, and that was pretty neat. And then he was telling us about a military museum there, and said that we should really stop and see that. We didn't have time to do that, but Du Bois is not very far from us. It's probably, I want to say, maybe 50 miles from us where we live. So we can drive over. It'd be a nice fun day trip to go over and do that. But man, that place was huge. We drove by it. It was enormous. So then we continued on. Our first night we spent in Thermopolis. Driving through Wyoming is just, to me, it's beautiful. There's so many different kinds of terrain there. You go from the mountains down to kind of almost high desert, very arid plains, cattle country, and that was really fun for us. And then you drive up the Wind River Canyon, which is just glorious. That is a beautiful, beautiful drive. You drive up the Wind River Canyon and you get to Thermopolis. And Thermopolis is like, it's one of those towns that has a lot of potential, but it's seen its heyday, I think, which is kind of sad. Thermopolis is the largest hot springs, natural hot springs, in the world, actually. And it's a shame that the town doesn't have the marketing expertise or to really make that place pop, because wow, that could be such a little gem of a destination. But eventually I guess it'll get there, hopefully. Anyway, we stayed in the hotel there, and it was not a great hotel stay. I have to say, it was not excited. I wouldn't go back there, and I'm not going to say who we stayed with because I don't like to badmouth anybody, but it was just not clean, dirty, and couldn't find really a good restaurant in town that we could eat at, so we ate there at the hotel, and that was not good either. So, but the hot springs were quite enjoyable. We enjoyed that, and the area around there, if you get out and walk around, it's quite extraordinary. It's really pretty and a nice setting. The park area there where the hot springs are is beautiful. Would be wonderful for a day picnic. If you had an RV and you could stay in your own RV, that would be ideal. Anyway, so we soaked in the hot springs and we enjoyed that. That felt good after a long drive for the day. And then got up the next morning and we decided that we would have our breakfast at the local McDonald's, because that would be something we were familiar with and we knew it would be fairly dependable. Although it's not a great breakfast, it's still, you know, you can count on it. So we did that and then drove back down the Wind River Canyon and turned off in the little town of Shoshone and continued to head towards South Dakota. We were headed for the Black Hills. So if I pause once in a while, it's because I'm kind of concentrating and my brain doesn't like to do two things at once. Anyway, so we got on the road. We headed off into Shoshone, and then I think our first stop for the day was Custer. I think it was Custer. And that's a sweet little town up in the yes.
I just hit 300.
Okay.
I'll go for a walk.
Okay, honey, have fun. John likes to walk every morning, so he walks 2 or 3 times a day and tries to get his 6 miles in. He's better than me. I'm not disciplined. I'd rather be down here sewing. Anyway, so we got up to Custer, which is in South Dakota, and made the turn there to head to where our destination was, which was Hill City. And there really isn't a lot to see in that part of Wyoming before you get to South Dakota, because it's just kind of flat and cattle country. It's beautiful. It's kind of has that romantic Western look to it, I guess you could say, but not much there. And so we get to Hill City and We passed through Hill City, which is in the Black Hills of South Dakota, and got to the house that we had rented with Chris and John, and it was a beautiful home. Gosh, it had 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms and huge kitchen and dining room, living room, great room kind of area. And it was probably about a 15-minute drive from Mount Rushmore, which we wanted to see while we were there. So we got in and got everything unpacked and just kind of chilled out that first night. And we went downtown to a little restaurant in Hill City and had some dinner, and then came back and just visited basically. And the next day we got up and took a drive through on this road that's called the Pigtail, and that was pretty fun. They have old trestle bridges that you drive under and also on top of, so you're pigtailing around curlicue on this road. It was really just a lot of fun. And went to another little town. I forget the name of it. I can't think of it right now. But anyway, it was like a old western mining town. There was a lot of mining, as you can imagine, in the Black Hills. They have Black Hills gold, right? So, and while we were there, we had lunch at a beautiful hotel and then restaurant, and then we went across the street and I got myself some little Black Hills gold earrings, which I wanted as a little souvenir. And then we were off to drive through this area called the Needles, and we went through several really cool tunnels where you could look back through the tunnel and you could see Mount Rushmore in the distance. It was like perfectly framed by the tunnel. So that was a lot of fun. And then you get up to the Needles and there's this one really long tunnel, and you drive through that thing and oh my gosh, there's like inches on either side for your vehicle. I mean, it's really tight. It's all carved out of the stone, and there's some pictures of that area that I posted on the Facebook site. Beautiful spires of rock that go up. That's why they call it the Needles. And there's this one particular spire that goes up, and it is called the Eye of the Needle because it has a hole in the top and it looks just like you would thread a needle. So that was really interesting and a lot of fun. And then let's see, what did we do the next day? The next day, what did we do? That was Tuesday. Oh, I remember. Okay. We went to this place called the Mammoth Site. And that was in Hot Springs, South Dakota. There's hot springs all over in that area, as you can imagine. There are here too, and it was kind of interesting to me. So the Mammoth Hot Springs is kind of an interesting place. This man was a contractor. He'd bought the property and he was going to develop it into housing. And he put his backhoe in there and was making his first dig to level off the area, and he unearthed a tusk. So he realized what it was immediately, stopped his digging, contacted a friend of his who was an archaeologist, and arranged for him to come out, and he confirmed his finding. And so they arranged for the property to be purchased, and a large building was constructed over the top of the the dig area. And you can see that in some of the pictures that I've posted. And so they started digging. Well, they've been digging since the 70s, and they're only partially uncovered. You can see what's been uncovered so far, but there were over 60 sets of mammoth tusks in this area that they're excavating. And how that happened was apparently there was an area of rock that formed, and somehow it dropped down in this one area and it formed a hollow, and that filled with water. And the animals that were there during that period came to drink the water because, you know, some grass had formed around the edge. It looked like an inviting pool. Well, it was inviting, all right. They would fall in, and the sides were so steep because it was sheer rock that they could not get out, and they would drown. And then as time went on, sediment would gradually fill in that hole. And so these animals have been encased in this sediment for I don't know how many millions of years, but there's all kinds of animals in there, not just the mammoth, but all kinds of animals. I put a link to their website, I believe, on my Facebook page, and you can read more about it if you want to know about it, but it's a great fossil site. We have some great fossil sites here close by as well, but that was very interesting to see everything unearthed and preserved, as it were. So the interesting part of it is, although they've been encased in the silt, they're not particularly fossilized. So there's something about the way the silt filled in, that they were not fossilized. So they're very delicate. They have to go through some very extraordinary preservation techniques to really make sure everybody stays intact while they learn more about it. So, very interesting day. The hot springs area is absolutely beautiful. Lots and lots of brownstone buildings. I wish I'd gotten more pictures, but the architecture there is just stunning and makes you really take a look at the place and go, wow, it's really another one of those places that in its heyday, you can tell it was amazing. So that was our Thursday. We went back to the house and barbecued and hung out, and then, that was Wednesday, yeah. And then Thursday, we got up early and we decided to drive out to the Badlands. And so we did that. That was beautiful. Very different topography again. And I've got pictures of that on the Facebook site. We drove through there. It was about 100 degrees when we were there, but it's kind of high desert, so it doesn't really feel like 100 degrees. Feels probably more like a 90, but it was definitely hot. And then we drove to Wall, South Dakota, and we went to Wall Drugs, which is a very much of a tourist spot. I would say if you're going to go to the Black Hills, don't miss out going to Wall Drugs. It's definitely a little tourist destination. That was a lot of fun, and then we continued our drive back to the house, and we were going to go up to Mount Rushmore the next day, but we decided not to because it was kind of stormy. The weather was unpredictable that day, and it ended up thunder and lightning, so we didn't go up and see Mount Rushmore. And I told John, I said, before we leave, I want to go up there and see it. I know we're going to miss the lighting ceremony, but I want to see it in the morning when it's early on our way out. And so that's what we did. We drove up there, and it was just extraordinary. And that's definitely a must-see. It's kind of one of those things where you see it and you learn about it, and then it's like, okay, I've seen that. It's like a bucket list thing, I guess. I wouldn't go back and see it again necessarily, but it was definitely quite an amazing experience to see that, and to think about all the work that went into creating that right there in the Black Hills. And there's a road that we drove by that you can see a side view. We drove that the first day. You can see a side view of Washington, profile view. And so that, I believe I posted that on the Facebook site. I think I did. So anyway, that was our trip. And then we drove back. After we left Mount Rushmore, we drove back a different way than we came out. And our destination for that evening was Cody, Wyoming, and what a place that is. They're really turning that into the next Jackson, I think, next Jackson Hole. Very much a tourist destination, pricey, expensive to stay there, expensive to rent a hotel room. Yeah, it's turning into another Jackson, which is unfortunate, you know. But we ate at the Irma Hotel, which was built by Bill Cody for his daughter Irma, and they have a buffet, and then they have a regular menu you can order from. It's very nice. It was a kind of a cool experience. A lot of people there. It wasn't particularly expensive, so that was good. And then we were just pretty much tired that night, so we didn't really scoot around. Everybody says, oh, you got to see the museum in Cody. That'll be another day. Cody's not that far from us either, so that'll be another excursion for another day. At that point, I was kind of anxious to get home to our kitties, and I drove most of the way, so I was tired. Anyway, next morning we got up and we continued our drive, and we went through, let's see, beautiful canyon area, the Cody Canyon area, and the beautiful mountains. There's a lake. Oh, it's just gorgeous till you get to Yellowstone. And we went in the east entrance of Yellowstone, and we had not driven around that side yet. There's one more entrance I need to see, and that would be the north entrance. We've gone in the west, we've gone in the south, and we have now gone in the east entrance. So the geographical size, the size of Yellowstone is so huge. If you plan a trip out and you're going to see Yellowstone, do your research before you come. It's such a big place. You can't see it in one day. It's not going to be a drive-by in one day. There's definitely so many things to see and so many things to do in the park. And so you kind of need to think about what you want to see. And what I would do is, they've got those phone apps you can download that kind of give you a guided tour if you're driving. And those are nice because they know where you are on the route, and they'll tell you some interesting historical or geological bits of information if you're into that. Anyway, some of the things that you'll want to see, definitely want to see the mud pot area. You want to see, I didn't particularly think Old Faithful was that dramatic. There's other geysers in the park that I think are just as dramatic, but it's kind of something you want to see one time at least. Gibbon Falls is beautiful. The road out to Yellowstone Falls is gorgeous. There's buffalo herds that you can watch on the way, usually, and Yellowstone Falls is quite extraordinary. And there's an upper falls and a lower falls. They both have hiking trails. The upper falls is an easier trail if you're older or infirm. It's a short trail to a spectacular view. And there's an area up there where you can sit down if you're tired. There's bathrooms all along the way, so you don't have to worry about that too much. Food. When you're going into Yellowstone Park, I would pack yourself a picnic. There's really no restaurants and no facilities inside the park unless you're willing to spend a lot of money at one of the little touristy spots that are few and far between. So pack yourself a picnic lunch and take a sandwich, some drinks, plenty of water, and just enjoy your day. There's so many places to pull off and have a nice little picnic lunch. And yeah, do your research before you go. The Tetons is another one. Tetons is beautiful. You can see that on the way to Yellowstone, but you gotta think about what the things are that you want to do and where they're located geographically for your particular interest, whether you want to go in the West Gate or the South Gate. The South will take you, you're going to go through Jackson, Wyoming, and it used to be called Jackson Hole. I don't know why they changed it, but you know, it probably has something to do with all the Californians that moved out. Anyway, Jackson is definitely a tourist spot now. It's very expensive. Don't buy your food there. Get it before you come up the hill. Yeah, it's touristy, and you're just going to pay a premium for everything. And it's just terribly crowded all the time. There's just a ton of people. Difficult to find parking. Yeah, Jackson. We just drive through. We don't stop. I'm sure at one point it was a really quaint, picturesque town, but too much of LA has moved up there and they've taken it over. I was listening to a gal the other day say that she used to be an artist. She's retired now, and she said the galleries up there, if you're not selling art for at least $500 a pop, they don't even want to bother with you. So you can tell it's gotten kind of she. Anyway, that's Jackson Hole, and then you're gonna go north from Jackson, and you will hit the Tetons. Tetons are breathtaking. There's so many places to pull off, so many things to see. There's wildlife in abundance. We particularly like to drive up to Jenny Lake and have lunch there. There's like a 4-star restaurant, you know, white tablecloths and the whole bit, up at Jenny Lake, and it's just a beautiful little spot, and the lake is so picturesque, and there's a pool out there. It's worth the wait to get a parking spot and actually enjoy yourself there, because it's just beautiful. Okay, I want everybody to see I closed my rotary cutter, girls. That is important. Okay, let's make up some blocks, shall we? Add some of these. Let's see. This looks kind of fun. I'll put this on the outside, maybe. Do like that. No, I think I like that better. Okay, that's cute. What I did was I just went through, and I'll be doing that to the rest of this as well, going through and just matching up opposite colors so I can mix them all up when I get to that point. And then I can just kind of stitch them down and chain stitch them, which is what I did with all those. And take your time and then I'll go back after and chain stitch them going the other way. Right now I'm just going to make pairs here. So if you're interested in making this block, you can go to the Facebook page, and there will be directions there for you and a video tutorial. So my machine is getting old, and I'm gonna have to probably break down and get a new one at some point, but I don't want to. I like this one. It's an old Bernina. I've had it for, probably 30 years now. And I love how it sews. I think I'm gonna have to get new feed dogs for it. I think the feed dogs are just getting worn out. Oh, this is cute. Let's do. Let's see. What do I want to do here? Do I like that? I like that, maybe. Yeah, that's cute. You can just play with your block and see what you like. Everybody's going to be different, and there is no right or wrong. You just go ahead and make your blocks, and they'll all come together beautifully. So anyway, that was kind of what our trip to the Black Hills was all about. It was an enjoyable week-long trip, and it felt really good to get home. Really good to get home. Let's see. I kind of like that. Let's see here. I mixed these up a little bit, so I'll just, maybe I like that. Do I like that? No, I like this. Okay, those two can go there. That goes there. Those go together there. And those go together. And There's the other one. Okay. I like that. Okay. Yeah, so I have some other sewing machines that I like to sew on. I have my Singer Featherweight that I enjoy sewing on. You see that a lot of times. I'll take that to the shop with me on Mondays. Yeah, I enjoy sewing on that. And I have 3 of those, and I kind of rotate them through because it's good to use them and keep them lubricated and in good running order. And then I have a Rocketeer, which is a Singer also, and I like that one. I think I like this maybe. Yeah, the Rocketeer is a lot of fun. It's a slant needle old Singer. It looks like a rocket ship, and it was built in the 60s, and it sews like a dream also. There's something about the all-metal machines that just, you can't beat them. And it does fancy schmancy stitches, like if you want to put a cog in. It's got some built-in cogs, but you can put a cog in and change your stitches up. And you can see I'm just chain piecing these together, so it makes it go really fast. And then you can kind of play around a little bit with things. Let's see, do I like that? I think I want some green in there. Let's use this one. How about that? I think I like that. So you never know what these are going to look like until you're playing with them. I guess you could plan it out, but then you kind of lose half the fun of just winging it, you know. Amanda was kind enough to pick all my quilts up from the fairgrounds while we were gone, and that was really nice to have those back and look at the ribbons. That was my first time entering the state fair here, so you don't really know what the judges are looking for, what their criteria are, and it's a learning process. So I think I like that better. So yeah, I got those back, and I'll have to get those stored away here. I'm toying with the idea of having a retreat out here next year, or maybe it'll either be next, oops, I popped my thread, next year or maybe the year after, doing a retreat. Give me your feedback on if that's something that you'd like to see out here, and I will, if I turn my light on, I might be able to see. Then I will put that together. I thought it'd be fun to do a retreat so you can fly into Idaho Falls, and then we could have you guys put up at a local hotel. There's plenty. And then which direction did I go? Okay. And then I thought we could arrange for a bus trip over to Yellowstone or the Tetons or both, if that's something that you would like to do. Yeah, definitely need to get those replaced. If that's something you'd like to do, we can do that. And I thought we could have a range of sewing tutorials, so that some are for folks that are more advanced and some are for folks that are maybe just beginning or intermediate, and of course swag bags and trip to the local quilt stores. And I'm just kind of toying with ideas, so let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. And we'll kind of play it by ear and see what we can develop over the course of this next year. I think it'd be a lot of fun, and I'd love to get together with you folks and see everybody in person. It was fun to finally get together with Diane the other day at the shop. She has followed my Facebook site probably since day one, it seems like. She was one of my first followers, and she's such a lovely woman, and her husband was so sweet, and it was so great to see her finally. I mean, it's been, gosh, about 10 years since I put the Facebook page up, and it was fun to finally meet and put a face to the name. So I told her I hope when they come up again, they'll be sure to give us a holler so we can get together. I like that. That's a lot of fun. Well, I've got more of these than I have of those, which is fine. Let's see, where's the other one? I like that. I like that. Let's do that one. Oh, there it is. Silly girl. Okay, so I've got this. Let's do maybe this and this. So I'm doing this series for our color tutorial page, which is kind of fun, and I'm going to be working up the analogous blocks tomorrow. I just needed to recover from that trip, from the driving. It tends to tighten up my shoulders really bad, and so I need a couple days to loosen things up. And then we drove to Pocatello the other day, and so that kind of exacerbated things again. Do I want to do that? Maybe, yeah. Oh, cute. So anyway, that's kind of why I'm running behind on that a little bit this week. So if you're in the group, the color group, I'm sorry. We'll get it put together here for you. But I've been doing these, trying once a month to do a charm pack block for you and do that tutorial. So this is one of the charm pack blocks that I have done the tutorial for, and I'm having some fun with it. I need some red in this one, more red. Let's see. This will work. Oh, this will work even better. Okay. And then I'll have to make up some more of the, let's do this like this maybe. sometimes if you just squint at your blocks a little bit when you're laying them out, you'll find what pleases your eye. And we have two groups. Well, there's three groups actually. There's the Farmer's Wife block group, which you're welcome to join. I have not been participating in that in quite a while, but it's up and the tutorials are on there, and there's a lot of folks that are having fun in that group as well. And then let me go over that one more time. I don't like that last little sew off there. Then we have the there we go. Then we have the color block. I'm going to cut every other one of these because I've got them kind of set together in pairs, right? So I don't need to clip in between. That one has a little extra thread on it. Okay. Anyway, we have the color group, and I'll put links up for these on the Facebook page. And we also have the XM Plus block group. So those are both a lot of fun. And if you just want a journey for color, learn a little bit more about color, then you'll want to join us on that. Now, you're going to notice that I'm going to press this, finger press it, away from the half square triangle block. And I just want to reduce my bulk out here, okay? So, and by pressing that direction, these are going to go in opposite directions right in the center. And since I've left them together, I know that's where they need to join. And whoops, I gotta grab two pins. And then I just put a little pin, tuck a pin in the side there. You don't tuck it directly into the seam, you'll tuck it in the side, because that way you'll get a perfect join in the center. And now I will run these all through and chain piece them as well. And I need a leader and ender on these. Come on, girl. There we go. Yeah, you can tell my feed dogs are just not playing right. Okay. Finger press away from the half square triangle towards your four patch, and same on the other side, and then they're going to nest together. Excuse me. I made breakfast for my husband this morning and I peppered those eggs up good. Oh. Come on, come on. There we go. And if you have a hard time keeping a 1/4 inch seam, if you don't have a 1/4 inch foot, you can do a couple things. These little sew tight magnets, you can put one right up against your 1/4 inch foot there. You can take tape and put a series of pieces of tape together, one on top of the other, stack it up kind of thick like that. And then you can put that on, and that'll help keep your 1/4 inch foot, 1/4 inch measure when you're stitching your seams. And again, we'll finger press to the half square triangle. You just run your finger down, and then we've still got this joined in the middle there, so we know that's the correct little spot. Okay. And you can feel it with your fingers when you press them together. And the only thing with this is you're going to have to take that pin out before you hit that little section there, but that's okay. I'll give you a nice 1/4 inch. Okay, again, pressing to the 4 patch, and we will press to the 4 patch. There we go. And finger pressing, you know, if you just take your time and do it, you can save yourself a lot of ironing and pressing things out. I'll finger press when I'm doing my 4 patch, but then once I get the 4 patch done, I am gonna spin my seams and press it because I want it to be flat when I'm stitching it together. Oh, and I broke my thread again. I'm so silly. This is probably, there we go. Just what you wanted to do today, watch me thread my machine all day, right? Oh, probably need to put a new needle in. It's probably time. So tell me in the comments section what you've been up to. Are you making these blocks? Are you having fun with it? Are you running into difficulties? Share with me and let me know what's going on. And like I said, this stack is equal to 4 charm packs because we took a layer cake and we cut it into quarters. A layer cake is generally 10 inches square, so by cutting it into quarters you have 5-inch squares that equal the size of a charm pack. And the nice thing about a layer cake or a charm pack when you're sewing like this is you have the entire run of that designer's fabric line, so everything is going to coordinate together. You don't have to worry about what goes with what. And this is a little stiletto that one of my followers made for me, and I love it. It's such a nice thing. Okay. Yeah, so tell me if you are running into any difficulties with anything and you need help on. I'll try to explain things a little more clearly if needed, and or demonstrate that for you. But I thought we'd do a charm pack block every month and just have some fun with it. And these blocks are the Jacob's Ladder block. I just like things to lay flat. I'm going to probably do half of my grouping here in the Jacob's Ladder block, and the other half I'm going to do in the picket fence block. So we've done both of those blocks, and you'll get to see how they look in a quilt. It's just a lot of fun to, oh, that's got to go that way. Let's turn that around. That's got to be done over. Okay, I'll show you what I did wrong here. I wasn't paying attention when I was sewing this together, and you can see I've got this half square triangle needs to be turned, rotated a quarter, so we'll do that. I'll have a date with Jack. Jack the Ripper. Okay, so this will go like this, and this will go like this. And I'll put the two together. So anyway, I thought it'd just be fun to sew together today, and if you're working on a project, share what you're working on. I love to see what you're working on. It really is so exciting for me to see that, and this is a quilter friendly place. Nobody's gonna yell at you or chastise you or tell you you did something wrong, or, you know, we're all in a learning process all throughout life, and so you just want to have fun with it. This is the creative part of your day. This is your joy, right? You get to play with the fabric you've been collecting, and look, I have so many more charm square packets that I need to get busy and make up. I don't know, you know, somehow quilters, you reach a point in life when you think you're going to live forever, and you just buy fabric like a maniac, and then all of a sudden one day you wake up and you think, oh, I'm not going to live forever, I better get busy. And you start sewing like crazy. Yeah. I'm probably slowing down on the buy now and being a little bit more thoughtful about what I purchase rather than purchasing things on a whim, which is fun too. Okay, we just have a few more of these to go. So, and don't freak out if your words don't go the same way, or, you know, it's just a quilt. It's just a quilt, and you just have fun with it. There's times when you want to focus on the minutia when you're making a quilt, and there's other times you just don't need to do that. You just need to have fun. Let yourself just get in the rhythm and go with it. So, there we go. We are making progress. So my son is going to be having his 50th birthday coming up here next Monday. And he was born on a Monday. So that's going to be fun. I think he's busy working next week, so he's not going to be doing anything special for his birthday. He lives down in Palm Springs, and I'm not going down there for his birthday, so he'll just be having some fun. But I think they're going to take off and go to Arizona, probably Sedona, to a resort out there the following week to celebrate his 50th birthday. So there's no way I have a kid, age 50. I must have been, I don't know, 5 when I had him. That's funny. Yeah. Okay. Well, here we go. This is our last little block for today, and then I'll clip them apart and I'll just show you real quick what we got going on here. And I'm trying to think if I want to stash these blocks this time or if I want to just leave them. I'll put them up on my design wall here and see what I think after a bit. Okay. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, 11. So we got 11 blocks there. So cute, huh? Cute, cute, cute. These are the Jacob's ladder block that we made. And so I will have one, I'm gonna split this into 2 batches. I'll have one quilt that's a Jacob's ladder and one quilt that is the picket fence block. So you'll get to see both. And I'll do another sewing day where I take you through making the blocks for the other as well. There we go. Fun. All right. Well, that's it for today. I hope you had fun, and I will talk to you soon.